The ocean is changing. We need to understand these changes. I'm Sylvia Earle. I'm an oceanographer and a champion for ocean exploration and the use of new technology to better understand what we can do for the ocean.
I'm Fabien Cousteau. I'm third-generation explorer and a voice for the oceans. Automated explorers, such as RU-27, bring knowledge about what's going on in our one and only life support system. You're about to embark on an amazing adventure, a fascinating story about the real struggles, the real hurdles, and the real triumphs in the world of exploration and the world of science.
This film, Atlantic Crossing, the story of a daring little robot, will take you into the sea to share the adventure where no human has been before.
When we first started, we were scared. You know, other people may think we're crazy for trying, you know. Look at all that we're putting at stake. Someone's got to do it. Christopher Columbus, people thought was crazy. Where are you going? There's nothing out there. But he went and he did it, and look what he learned from it. And, you know, we're going to try and do the same thing.
We're doing something that's never been done before. We've been told it's impossible. We've been told by many people it is likely to fail. But we're going to try anyway.
The challenge is to get a robot, an 8-foot robot, to cross the Atlantic.
There is very little that is more risky that you can do with a robot than this. But we have to do it, and we have to do it now.
There is a big urgency here. We're at a race against time because the oceans are changing in our lifetime. And major changes in the ocean have always resulted in major changes of life on Earth.
This mission is much more than just getting a robot from the US to Europe. It's a groundbreaking mission that's giving us data that we haven't had before. This data is critical to understand how the ocean is impacting climate change.
We have to understand what's going on in the ocean because it regulates the climate. And to understand the ocean, we have to sample it. And the only way we're going to do that is with robots. So 70% of our planet is covered by the oceans, and they're critically undersampled. The oceans contain most of the heat that is coming in from the sun. Right now, our climate is changing more rapidly than we have ever recorded. To better understand how our planet's changing, it is absolutely necessary that we develop a way of continuously monitoring our ever-changing oceans.
The odds are very slim that we're actually going to get this vehicle across. If you were to ask me today what chances I saw of actually having this glider reach the European mainland, it's probably something on the order of 5 to 10%. This is not something that's easily done.
RU-27 is similar to the Mars rover. It has to go out into a hostile environment, survive in that environment, and then do a science mission.
0, all engine running. Liftoff.
In 1969, I was in 8th grade when the astronauts were flying in space. They're exploring strange new worlds. I knew I wanted to be an explorer and I wanted to be an astronaut. And so I kind of worked in that direction. I knew I wanted to be a scientist. One of the first things I did was I learned how to fly. So all the different training that you would do as an astronaut, we participated in as much of that as possible as pilots. And then I was 33 years old. I got that opportunity to apply, be an astronaut. And so I went through that whole process and, well, came very close. But I was stopped by a medical reason. I was stopped for 4 fast heartbeats on a 24-hour test. I got the call from NASA that I was going to live a long and productive life, but I was going to live that life on Earth. And that was a killer to hear. I had to come up with other ways that I could be an explorer. If I was going to be an explorer, it was going to be as an oceanographer. Maybe I could send robots beneath the sea to do that exploration. We send gliders all over the world, from Antarctica to the Arctic, to the tropics, to Australia, to Europe.
Our job is to do big science, which requires us to go to extreme locations, extreme environments, trying to do things no one else has done. We do things with gliders that a lot of groups won't do. Either they're too dangerous or they're too stupid.
The primary data that gliders return is temperature and salinity. And here's the main sensor we'll be flying on. This is the temperature salinity sensor. This is the part that is doing most of the data collection for us. On top of that, whatever other sensors we want to add, gliders measure those for us. Optical sensors to look at what's in the water, acoustic sensors to listen for fish. Before robots, the only way to sample across the ocean was to go out in a boat. You'd send a lot of people out and you'd be dropping a sensor maybe every 50 miles. It was dangerous because storms could hit and it took a long time. Now what you can do is send out robots. They can sample about every half mile, so you get about 100 times the data. We can do it much cheaper, much more safely, and get a higher quality data set.